I'm Haley from Gallifrey Public Radio, a Doctor Who fandom podcast and part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 420 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. This is recorded live on Sunday, September 27th, 2020. I'm Chris. Joining me this week, as per the usual, my other co-host. That includes one Mr. Anthony Bachman.
All your tacos belong to us.
I want tacos. Can I have some tacos, please?
They're ours. They belong to us.
Yes.
All your tacos are forfeit.
And then joining us this week, back and recovered from his illness, one Skittle Water.
I guess we're continuing with that. I'm all right with that.
I forgot that was on.
Skittle Water.
But someone said there'd be tacos?
Yes, there will be tacos.
I'll take a taco.
Will you have Skittle Water with your taco?
You know what? Sure. Why not?
Have you had Skittle Water recently?
Yeah.
So
why not?
I will tell you this right now, Willie. I have to go pick up groceries this afternoon. I think it's at 3 o'clock. I have to go to the Kroger to pick up my groceries I've ordered. On my way, I'm stopping at the CVS to get my flu shot. And if I find Skittle Water when I'm there, I will get Skittle Water. I will drink it. I will do a live stream of it if you guys want on either Instagram or whatever other social media sites I have that support it. And we can get live impressions of Skittle Water. But that's only if I can find it. That's going to be the problem. I don't know if CVS will have it.
I mean, I would say just stop at, our favorite gas station.
Sheets.
Sheets.
There you go. Well, see, also, here's another thing to consider, Willie, is we could do it on Instagram. And evidently, I can invite someone into my Instagram live so you can critique my criticisms of Skittle Water if you want. But I don't know if you have an Instagram.
I do have an Instagram.
You do it for the gram?
I mean, I don't ever really use it, but
you
I
use
have
it to
one.
follow
It's on there.
cosplayers, right?
Not
Just
really.
guessing. No? I figured you would.
Since you brought it up,
that wasn't meant to be gross. In clarification, not meant to be gross, but cosplayers are a lot on Instagram and Twitter. Some people were potentially turning that into a creepy factor, which I wanted to head off because that was not what I wanted to insinuate.
I can understand the explanation.
Yeah.
But since you brought it up, you talked. I've been noticing that I've been getting followers on Twitter, even though I don't really use it that much, and it's a bunch of comic book writers. I'm not really put off by this or anything. I'm like, wonder why these people are following me.
Well, it could be because we've had a bunch of comic book writers on the show.
But it's some I've never heard of or anything. I was like, I like it.
Well,
I'm just curious.
And some folks are probably trying to expand their reach a little bit. And when they go out there and see, especially during Kickstarter season, hey, David's been on the show, Sean Pryor's been on the show. They've had a bunch of different comic book writers on the show over the past few years. Maybe these guys aren't the worst to be following. And then they listen to our show and go, holy crap, these guys don't talk about comics that much, because we don't talk about comics that much right now.
It's a part of it.
It's a cycle. We'll work back around to it.
We talk about comics when there's good comics worth talking about.
That's
so
right.
We don't talk about comics all the time.
I mean, I am reading The Boys right now, but I haven't read enough to be
No
able to have a
spoilers.
good discussion. Well, I've only read like the first issue and a half of The Boys, so I have a lot more to read.
Fair enough. I've already kind of spoiled myself a little bit. I watched a YouTube video who explained what's that guy's name that's in all black?
Noir?
Yeah.
Black Noir?
Yeah, seeing who he is. I'm like, oh, I wonder if they're going to do that in the show.
Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
I'm not going to tell
Okay.
you. I just don't know if they're going to do it for the show or not. They might switch it up.
So, side note, and we won't spoil anything. The Boys is really good, and when you watch this week's episode, within the first 5 minutes, there's a moment that just has you kind of shaking your head, going, "The fuck is going on this week?" And it's really good. And how did my wife put it? She goes, we watched this show last season, and I went, I don't know how they'll make it any more violent or over the top. She goes, and they did. I don't know how, but I really like it.
And more sexual.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of sex this season, and you get both violence and sex this week in The Boys, episode 6, so enjoy.
You got it from the trailer itself. Laser me in the tits.
Well, this is more sexual than laser me in the tits this week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
You get violence and sex within seconds of each other. It's
even
fantastic.
even crazier than the head crushing scene from the first season.
Well, I'm going to let you watch this week's episode, and we can talk about it on the Twitter or on the Google Hangouts or something like
On
that.
the
after the
Twitter.
fact. Well, if we talk about it on the
Twitter,
that allows the audience to then see us discussing it. Is the only reason I mentioned
You're right.
that.
You're right.
Unless
and
we
when you're
want,
right, you're right.
I mean, the other alternative is we do have a Discord on the official Gonna Geek Discord channel. We could use the ATGN Discord to discuss.
We do have a Discord.
Yeah, that's geeks.link/Discord, I think, or gonnageek.com/Discord.
We were talking about using that for Among Us.
And that's true. And we'll talk about that at the end of the show. We might have some fun coming up. We got to try and convince some of our other friends in the network to participate in said fun. At least we need 10 people.
So, I mean, you know I'm the imposter always.
Willie's always sus.
You son of a gun.
Red is sus.
I'm orange, bitch.
You just start the match, every match, and you just instantly call a meeting and report Willie.
I don't like this at all.
Willie's sus.
I've won a couple matches as an imposter, not gonna lie.
I have too. It's been fun.
I haven't even played it.
The best time is when you just do nothing and let everyone else, blame everyone else.
The best one is when you can literally just lie your way out of it because somebody sees you kill someone and then you go and report it first. And you be like, totally was Silver. I watched him kill Gray or watched him kill Red.
Then he used Vent.
Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, he saw it. And you're like,
Sneaky bastards.
Oh no, you get some people who say, oh, he's self-reported.
I've played a few people that have self-reported and I don't trust the reporters now either. And it's come to bite me in the ass, too, as I've reported. And then they've killed me, and I'm like, bitch, I just walked across the entire damn ship and just saw this. And I was like, Blue was right behind me. And I was like, it must be Blue that was the murderer.
Listen, guys, I was only in weapons and then navigation. That's all I've been. Haven't been anywhere else to people.
For those that aren't aware, we're talking about the game Among Us that came out in 2018 and has gotten incredibly popular all of a sudden. Like someone, I think it was on like the chart porn subreddit or something like that. I saw it hit the popular. They charted like the level of interest and the number of people playing Among Us. And then you see like 2018, it just sort of ticks up a little bit. And then there's this giant spike in 2020. It's like 6 or 8 times the spike they've had before. And you're like, holy crap. I don't know what it is, but the game's fun.
I bet they're not upset by that at all.
Well, they did. This isn't the news week, but we can talk about it now. They had announced a sequel to Among Us. And then once all of this took off, like, yeah, we're canceling the sequel just so you can keep adding on to the original game. Because I think the
2 maps?
3, I think. The concern was they wouldn't be able to get everyone to buy a new game or to move over to the new game, so then they're splitting their audience, I think. I don't know. I've enjoyed it a lot, though. Willie is sus, though. All the time.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Man's trouble.
I will say I was in a match and I felt so bad because I thought Black used the vent. It was the wrong color because they were not an imposter, but I thought I saw them come out of the vent. It might have been dark purple. I don't know. But we all voted Black off and he was not an imposter. I was like, oh,
you're going to die now.
Messed up.
Are there colorblind settings in Among Us, or are there people that can't play it?
I honestly don't
know.
No,
I think I just got lost in all the confuzzled, running abouts.
Well, it just makes me wonder because everything's based on the color of the people you're seeing, right? Because people aren't remembering the gamer names all the time.
It's easier to remember the color than the name.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a colorblind setting.
I don't know, but even if there was, how do you make it so that the colorblind person is then communicating to us what is actually that color? Because we'd be like, the what now? Unless they literally put like the name over the color or something to describe what it is. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys are just going to say Willie is sus every time.
I say that every week about this time.
Yes.
I mean, it's
Sunday
not really
morning,
true.
It's Sunday morning. Willie is sus.
What am I sus for now?
You name it.
Is it illegal in my state?
You're Skittle Water sus. Not illegal, but sus.
Well, I don't have any Skittle Water today. What I do have is some delicious cheer wine, born in the Carolinas.
And if you want to sponsor us, Cheerwine, please reach out to us at ATGN Podcast on Twitter.
Yeah, we're cheap.
And cheer wine is delicious.
I can get Cheerwine in West Virginia, too, so we could have 2 out of the 3 hosts. And I'm sure that we'd be willing to ship some out to Bachman if it meant they were sponsoring us.
Yeah, you guys send me a couple of 2 liters. I'll drink it.
Hey, we're going to send you cans.
Delicious. Oh, yeah, cans is the way to go, baby.
Yeah, because then it doesn't go flat.
Yeah.
You drink that 2 liter faster, it gets flat.
I'll drink one per show.
Oh,
they sponsor us. Drink one per show.
That's a lot of soda.
He'll drink more than that.
No, if it's the only soda I'm drinking all week.
I guess so.
Get up Sunday morning, power a 2 liter cheer wine. Hell yeah. I'll do it.
Most people think, what's it supposed to taste like? Wine? No, it's not wine.
It's supposed to taste like Cheers.
Cherry. You sons of bitches.
I've been called worse.
Yet I'm the suspected. This is not right.
That's because Willie is always sus. Always sus.
Always because I'm drinking my cheer wine.
And while you guys are thinking that out, let's roll on into the news of the week.
No.
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
Welcome to the news of the week. It's that part of the show where we run down what's in our minds some of the most interesting geeky and or nerdy news to have popped up here in the last week, and kind of look at Willie's blowtorch he's using to light his cigarettes now and just kind of go, that's cool. The man with the golden torch.
What can I say, man? Some of us got that factor, and yeah, I got it.
You got that lighter swag going for you right now.
Yeah, it's fancy.
It's fancy. I like it. I mean, there's the whole James Bond man with the golden gun. Now you're just the man with the golden torch.
Yeah, ostentatious. You goddamn right.
I'm going to allow it. You know what else I'm going to allow, Willie?
I'm waiting.
You to share your news with us.
Oh, my news of the week is some sad news, sadly. So I know I missed last week, but I tried last week and I tried this week. And both times were bungled. I tried to get the PS5 pre-order. It didn't go so well.
Point of clarification. You tried to do it in person or you tried to do it online?
You think I want to do this online? No.
Okay, I just want to clarify because one is probably easier than the other.
I'm kind of curious which one is easier for you.
Well, one doesn't involve lining up outside the store at 5 a.m. to try and get one of the 12 consoles they're getting.
Well, to be honest, when I did go, there was a line at GameStop. That's where I went because I'd much rather be in person and make sure I get it the same day instead of having to worry about shipping, not being late or anything.
To be fair, that is a good concern because Amazon has sent notices out to the Xbox and PlayStation pre-orderers, I guess is the right term, to caution them that due to overwhelming demand, they may not all arrive on the release date.
Yep. But when I went to the store the first time, the original day that it was supposed to go out on pre-order, there's a little bit of line, not going to lie. Didn't think there was going to be one, but there was. I was surprised by that. Well, not really surprised after I thought of it. I was like, oh, wait, I'm just being dumb. And, of course, they didn't have any pre-orders the first day. And if I can believe what the manager of the GameStop was saying, he was saying it was all because of Walmart. Walmart was the problem because they decided to start taking pre-orders right after the conference Wednesday before last instead of the day Sony was saying it was supposed to be, which was the next day afterwards.
That did open the floodgates, it appears, because then everyone started putting them up for sale.
And be like, oh, wait, Walmart's doing it? Well, we better do it too.
It was actually interesting because it led to a comment from Microsoft because their console, the Xbox Series line, was going out the next week after that, where they pretty much told everyone, if you break street date on the pre-orders, your allotments will be slashed.
Oof. And I believe it. Mm-hmm. And I can't blame them for doing that.
I wouldn't either because Sony got a black eye, whether it's their fault or not, for the fact that the pre-orders were a mess in that regard, because their third-party folks that were selling it broke street date, and then everyone blamed Sony.
And so fast forward to just Friday when they did another line of pre-orders for the PS5. The line was longer. Didn't expect, although I did get there a little later. I knew I messed up anyway, but I was like, all right, let's try this. So I lined up, and there was a sign when I got close enough to the front of the door. It thought it said 70 pre-orders they were taking. I was like, well, I'm certainly going to get one of 70. That's a lot. I wasn't expecting that much.
7 and 0.
By the time I got close up to the door, the individual numbers were in their individual boxes. They had 7 more of the disk drive version of the PlayStation 5 as the pre-order, which is the one I do want, and 0 of the all digital version,
which is the one I want.
And so I saw the 70 and thought 70.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
Because they were side by side.
Yep.
So, yeah, whoever designed that thing are assholes, let's just say.
Willie, I will say this. Had you been trying to do it online, I think you would have had better success. The original launch date, I could have had one. I was curious. I was following Wario64 on Twitter. That's my pro tip for anyone who's trying to do this is Wario64, as soon as they go live, generally tweets like that, and you have a comment with a link to it. So I was on Walmart's site, had it in my cart, got to the checkout page, and went, why the hell am I doing this? I don't actually want this. And then deleted it from my cart. No, I was suffering from FOMO right there. I fully admit it.
I mean, if you wanted to send it to me, we could have done that.
Well, I thought you didn't want to have to wait past release date, Willie.
Well, I mean, if you're going to be sending me one, I'm not going to be, denying it.
Fair point. So it seemed like online it was a little bit easier just because there were a few places you could go and a few people you could follow to find out. But the problem still is with all of these console pre-orders, especially if they put the link out there ahead of time, that just means all the scalper bots are looking there and they buy a crap load of them up. And why they don't have those capatchas or whatever when you go to check out or when you go to add to the cart on these consoles where scalpers are picking them up is just beyond me. But after both the Xbox and the PlayStation pre-orders were up, you can go on eBay and people were selling them for $100 to $1,200.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
And why do they not do it? Because, hey, they're making money.
Yeah, they don't care.
They're making, hey, a sell is a sell.
I also missed out on the Xbox pre-orders. My wife did as well. And the added wrinkle there was I had it in my cart on a few different places, but I was trying to do the whole Xbox All Access thing we've talked about before, which is pay $35 a month for 24 months. You get the Series X and 2 years of Game Pass, which is like $20 cheaper than if you bought them separately. But what that forces you to do is when you check out, you have to open a line of credit with their third-party company they're working with. And the problem that a lot of folks ran into is they would get in their cart, they would go to check out, and by the time they got approved, they would go back to try and check out, like, oh, we're sold out. So it happened on GameStop's site. My wife got as far as getting the credit check done, getting approved for the line of credit. And this is a credit check that takes 5 points off your credit score temporarily because it's a hard check. And then trying to check out, and it goes, but we're sold out. Now, full credit to both.
That's horseshit.
Well, full credit to both Microsoft and GameStop at this point in time is everyone who got to that point has now gotten an email from both of those companies that says, hey, we realize this is what happened. If you're still interested in getting the Xbox, reply back to this email and tell us. And they're trying to make it right with those folks who were approved and got that far. I couldn't even get onto the credit card website or the credit site to get approved. The site would just crash every time I did it. So I think the problem they had there is twofold. Their third-party credit site couldn't handle the load. And the first part, and probably the bigger part, is I don't think they had a separate pool of devices set aside for people that were trying to do all access. I think it all came from the same pool. And with that added step of having to get approved for a line of credit, they were all gone by the time you tried to get it. So I don't know many people that actually successfully purchased their Xbox through the All Access program. Then there's also the problem on the Xbox side of the house that Best Buy was an hour and a half late going live on pre-orders. Target never updated their site to actually support All Access for the new Xbox. So you could only use it to buy an Xbox One S. It was very strange. Like, I had it in my cart at Walmart, went to check out. The website blew up trying to get the credit check. I had it in my cart at GameStop 3 different times. It blew up when it tried to throw me to the third-party credit card company. So, like, I tried. I just had no opportunity. So I'm glad that the folks that did get that credit hit and were approved for that line of credit that you can't use if you don't get the Xbox are able to get their Xboxes potentially. Now, both GameStop and Microsoft have said we're going to try and make it right. But I don't know if make it right means you're going to get something at launch or you're waiting until the next round of them that come out and you're at the top of the queue or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah.
Now, the opportunity that is still out there for folks that are wanting to get either the Xbox or the new PlayStation is both Sony and Microsoft have said that on launch day, there will be extra consoles on site at these locations. So you could theoretically go and get in line at Best Buy or GameStop on launch day and hope that of the 6 extra they get or whatever, you're able to get one, or it doesn't just mysteriously sit in the back room until a guy gets off shift and can officially buy it or something like that. There were also rumors going around all over YouTube and Twitter that some of these pre-orders were taken up by staff, not necessarily by customers, which maybe some of them, but I don't imagine it's as rampant as the internet would have you believe.
Or as many as the scalpers, probably.
The scalpers are the bigger problem. It's not the people that work in the
scalpers.
stores.
You mean scummers? That's what I'm going to call them.
You're not wrong, man.
And didn't I see something from you earlier this week saying people were getting the wrong Xbox?
So there was a news story that came out on that. And it's kind of overblown. So here's the one thing you need to consider. Xbox One X was discontinued like 3-4 months ago. So there are some folks that were selling them third party on Amazon. And there are some people that mistakenly bought a new Xbox. And they reported something like it was 400% increase in sales on the Series X. Well, when you're only selling like 1 or 2 third party a week because they're not officially sold anymore, yeah, you can get a surge like that. So yes, there are people that probably mistakenly bought the wrong one, but the statistics a bit misleading, seeing as they don't actually sell those new anymore. It's only third-party folks on websites that are selling them. It is funny, but at the same time, it's slightly misleading.
It's like the Wii U all over again.
Yeah, the important thing is that every one of those sales is because of the idiot at Microsoft that can't come up with a good naming convention for the goddamn Xboxes. Why wasn't the 360 followed by the 720 and then the 1080? It's so fucking simple. You just keep turning.
It
It would have made more sense than what they did.
Oh, they did keep turning. They pulled off full 360 and they just used the same name again.
The same letters and just move them around. Man, fucking jackasses.
Yeah, just like what I did there.
It works for me. So, Willie,
It works for a lot of people.
I'm sorry you haven't been able to obtain your pre-order. Are you going to try and... What is it? On the 12th is the day they drop officially? November 12th?
Yes, it is. And I think Xbox is November 10th.
Yeah. So are you going to go out November 12th and get in line super early at the local... Well, actually, here's something you should consider. On November 11th at about 11 p.m., go to Walmart and then wait until 12:01 a.m. and see if you can pick one up. Walmart's 24/7, my friend.
You know what?
Actually, I don't know. Are they still during COVID?
They are here in the red states.
Okay. So depending on
Yeah,
whether
I'm in
your
a red
Walmarts
state.
are still 24/7, you could try and go to a
Yeah, it
late
might
night
depend
run at
on
Walmart
your...
and then pick it up at 12:01 a.m. because that is officially street date then. And I know in the past, my Walmarts had honored that with things like the Switch before. So my buddy didn't have a pre-order for a Switch. He went to Walmart at 10 p.m., got a chair from the lawn and garden section, and set it down the electronics as he was lined up, waiting to be able to check out, and got one of the 4 extra Switches they had that weren't pre-ordered and was able to pick it up that way. So it is a consideration, Willie, to say that you could go to Walmart at late in the evening and try and pick it up at 12:01 a.m.
There is one problem, though.
Okay.
I would have to go to Walmart.
Well, I don't disagree, but that's out of the retailers I can think of. Those are the only ones that are going to open that early because Best Buy,
right.
Target, things like that, none of them run 24 hours.
You're right. Huh.
Another thing to consider is if you have a Sam's Club membership, you could try and be at Sam's Club as soon as they open. And if you have a Sam's Club business membership, that means you get in an hour earlier than everyone else. So you could, in theory, get in line and get in the store an hour before other folks. I don't know if you have a business level membership at Sam's Club or not.
I don't think I've ever been in a Sam's Club.
That's fair. Costco might be doing something similar. I don't know. But yeah, those are your
Never
opportunities.
been in one of those either.
There are
Listen,
also... Yeah.
Do you think people where you have to have a membership are going to allow Willie D. Nelson in there?
If you pays your money, you can come in.
Oh, no. They've bet a little bit.
Willie doesn't want to be a member in any club that would have him as a member.
I mean, that's usually a good, test to see if they allow me. If they allow me, you don't pass the test.
Well, I think you can even buy like
I think it was a Groucho quote, actually.
I don't know. So there is opportunities there if you want to try and get one in the launch window, but it's going to require you going out in the world and having to wait in lines, which...
Oh, I was already going to do that anyway.
I personally have been avoiding. That's why I was trying to go online. And to be honest, pre-orders for the Xbox started at 11 a.m. I had a 10 o'clock work meeting I had to be at. So I really had no choice. I couldn't go and get in line if I wanted
bastards.
to. So I wasn't super worried about it. So pretty much at 10:55, I said, "Hey guys, I'm going off the clock for a half hour and stop billing for a half hour to try to obtain an Xbox." I failed. Went, man, F this. I'm going back to work, and went back to work and went on with the rest of my day.
Man, I'm debating Walmart. I can't remember the last time I stepped foot in a Walmart. At least a year or two.
One thing to keep in mind is we won't be the only ones that float this idea out there. So I don't even know what the right time would be to go and find out.
All right, I'm going to need you to go back and edit this whole thing out about this so none of our listeners here, unless they're listening live, then I'm going to need your addresses. Don't come to North Carolina. This is my area.
This is Willie Nelson territory.
This is Nelson country.
Well, again, sorry you couldn't
pick you
get
up and I will throw you.
There you go. Sorry you couldn't get it, Willie. Hopefully you're able to obtain another pre-order at some point in time. I don't think they're supposed to be getting any more pre-orders at GameStop from the way they were talking until after they release. Or let me rephrase. I don't think they'll be having any more you can pre-order for launch date anymore, but they might get more shipments and say, hey, here's something that's like 2 weeks post-launch date that you might be able to go pre-order eventually.
Now, I will say this. I'm not in a rush to get a day one. I mean, if it happens, sure, I might be trying to make it happen, but I'm not going to be upset. I'm like, oh well. Like both pre-orders, I was like, yeah, oh well. The first day I did get actually inside and ask them about it. The second time, I noticed that I didn't leave after I saw the sign. I was like, well, maybe. And I didn't realize how many people were already inside and how many people were in line. But someone coming out was already, angry and upset by it. So, and the sign was a little misleading, the way it was designed. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, well, I'm getting out of this line out here. I'm just going back to my vehicle.
Look, we always know the numbers are going to be limited. Getting mad at the people at work, the store is not going to help anything. So if there were people that are getting mad at the employees because they were sold out of pre-orders, those folks are assholes, because the people working there are not to blame for the fact that both Microsoft and Sony were sending like 12 max of the new consoles and then like half that of the discless versions or something like that.
Oh man, the first day someone was very angry when I was waiting in line on the inside. Oh, they were super angry because they said they called the night before. They said, well, we can't do pre-orders till the next day, so they didn't start allowing them yet. So that was...
I would be frustrated too, where that person that called to find out then came in and found out they sold all their pre-orders the day before when you called and asked. I would be frustrated, but you've got to realize it's not the person on the floor that's making that decision. It's someone much higher up the chain that's making that decision.
Yep. Fucking Walmart. Fucked it up for everyone.
And you might have to go to Walmart to obtain one on day one.
And that's why I think Willie should avoid Walmart and not reward them.
Meh, I'm rewarding myself. I don't give a shit.
But Willie needs to get one so he can do a live unboxing on our channel We can put a camera on Willie as he unboxes his PlayStation and find out all
Do you
about.
not see my upload speed right here?
It's okay. We can do good enough with that. I don't need anything more than a 720p feed.
But by the time Willie gets the unboxing video up, I will have bought my PlayStation in December, and I'll be able to do an unboxing video faster.
What?
Well,
Oh,
to
yeah,
be
that's
fair, all the tech bloggers and stuff are going to beat us to unboxing videos because the folks that
Hell,
are
half of them are going to get them in October.
they've already got them.
Or yeah, they got them.
Yeah, I mean, like the IGN and Ars Technica reviewers and a few other folks like MKBHD or whatever, who I always screw up the YouTube channel there, but they already have them. They were showing pictures of, hey, we've got our Xbox Series X's in. We can't actually turn them on for you guys yet, but here they are on our entertainment centers because they've given them to us. Digital Foundry has theirs already. I'm sure the PlayStation 5s are coming soon to all these folks as well, so that on day and date launch, they can drop their reviews of it and that they can do a few weeks worth of teases before that.
Bunch of cheaters.
We need to get bigger and more famous for the PS6 so that Willie can get one ahead of time.
That'd be nice. That'd be fancy.
I don't know how we're going to get that famous, but that's the plan.
Let me see. I think we got what?
We're going to
another
keep making dick jokes.
7 to 8
We
years
will not
left.
stop.
Maybe even more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think they're keeping with the cycle. This 7 8 years. It's only been 7 years since the last one.
It's true. I wonder if we'll get a mid-cycle refresh this time around.
I'm not sure if they're. I mean, they probably will just because, hey, it makes money.
Money,
Yeah.
money.
I can see 3 years from now the PS5 Pro coming out in an all-black edition.
Oh, there'll be an all-black
Just
edition
an
before
all-white.
that because they'll do some kind of console-exclusive, game-exclusive one where you get your custom PlayStation with it.
Did you
Awesome.
see some of the signs for the PlayStation 5? Although I could have been fooled and they could have just photoshopped it, but it looked real. It had a PlayStation 5. It said it's okay to be white. I'm pretty sure they did not mean it at all for the other way.
Yeah, I'm not sure that
In
they
any
might have
kind of
even
way.
made those ones.
I will almost guarantee those are not Sony official posts.
Like, I'm pretty sure whoever came up with that and approved, like, they never even thought of that. I have to believe they didn't even think of it that way.
You have to hope.
Yeah.
You have to hope.
Yeah.
Well, we'll transition to the next news story here. Since we're talking about video games, let's keep talking about video games.
Let's do that.
And this one, I'm going to credit how I'm going to paraphrase this to one Willie Nelson. We're here to talk about Microsoft and the big dick energy they showed last Monday. Did I quote that properly there, Willie? Willie's nodding his head for those that are on the audio version.
Yeah, that's fair.
So for those that weren't aware, on Monday, it kind of just started to trickle out early Monday morning that Microsoft was about to acquire a studio. And everyone had heard the rumors that Microsoft was going to buy WB Games in Montreal, which is the maker of the upcoming Batman game, a few other things. That wasn't who they said they were buying. They announced a plan to buy ZeniMax Media. Do you guys know who that is?
No.
No.
ZeniMax Media is the company that owns studios like Bethesda. Do you guys know who Bethesda is?
No, who is that? Never heard of that.
For those that aren't aware, Bethesda publishes games like The Elder Scrolls, Doom, Fallout. Upcoming, they have some exclusive PlayStation timed exclusives coming out with this next generation. Well, Microsoft dropped $7.5 billion with a B dollars.
I'm
and
sorry
bought
to
up
say with a B.
with a B, so that nobody thinks I'm saying
That's-
7.5 million. It's
Yes,
7.5
B
billion.
billions for ballin'.
Exactly.
We came to play some ball, bitch.
Yes, they dropped $7.5 billion to purchase ZeniMax Media Inc., including Bethesda and a variety of other studios, and are bringing them in under the Xbox Studios banner, meaning all of these games will come to Game Pass. All of them will be day one launching on Game Pass. And just to put this in comparison, you guys remember how much Disney paid for Marvel?
I do not remember.
That was
Marvel, I
That
don't remember.
was only $4 billion. You know how much they paid for Star Wars?
That's
Star Wars was $4 billion.
$4 billion as well. 4.05 billion, I believe it was. So, yeah, this is almost twice as much as Disney paid for both of those properties individually. Let me rephrase.
That's insane.
That's a big move. Now, also keep in mind that the Elder Scrolls series all time has made boatloads of money, like more than
Well,
this acquisition is worth.
Yeah, but like I don't know, looking at the financial outlook of it, is it going to make more money in the long term than something like Star Wars or all Marvel IP?
Video
that
games
is
make more money than movies right
insane.
now. Movies make their money off of merchandising and things tied into it.
Yeah. I don't know, but has Bethesda pulled in what Marvel's done in the last 23 films?
Well, it's
If
a
you
bit of a
add
different
all that
story
money
there,
together,
but you can't put out games as quick as you can put out movies.
well, I know, but as a studio, as they've been putting out games, because the sheer amount of money that Disney's made off of the Marvel films is insane for a $4 billion, payment.
No, they will not have made as much as Disney has made off of 20 Marvel movies, just for comparison's sake.
Yeah,
That's an impossibility.
I don't think the ROI is going to be as good, but it might still be a great investment.
Well, you're seeing this purchase as a different way than what I think it really is. It's not about making money. It's not about making money from them themselves. It's for their name, and now they're going to be first party games, and that's where they're going to be pulling probably more people because they need to make a big move because they were on the bottom of the list for Xbox One.
It is also a move to get them all under Game Pass because that's Microsoft's big play right now is you want to play Game Pass. So here's the hypothetical situation. Let's say 5 years from now, Fallout 5 comes out. And let's say they do decide they're going to put it on PS5 as well as Xbox. Okay, you can pay $70 day one to play it on your PlayStation, or as part of your Game Pass subscription at 12:01 a.m. you can start playing it for no additional cost on your Xbox. That's part of the thought, plus the back catalog of games, because, let's be honest, Skyrim's on everything. There's a variety of different things that are out there. Microsoft has basically bought up what some would argue is the premier Western RPG maker.
I mean, you've been seeing the jokes, haven't you, the memes?
Which ones? There's a few different going around.
Todd Howard finally sold a copy of Skyrim for $7.5 billion.
Yeah, exactly.
Billion.
Or why did Microsoft buy Bethesda? So that Todd Howard would stop trying to put Skyrim on a refrigerator or something like that.
Todd Howard found a way for you to buy Skyrim monthly.
Yeah. I think the big play here is to get it folded into Game Pass. But it's really interesting. Microsoft has been pursuing this deal for years. It sounds like behind the scenes they've been working things out. And while this has been going on, Sony has locked in 2 console exclusive windows on 2 upcoming Bethesda games. And I can't remember. I've got them in my show notes. I'm trying to find them real quick. It is Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. Those are PlayStation 5 timed exclusives. I don't know how long that timing period is. Phil Spencer said that they will honor that agreement that's in place. They're not going to change anything up on that. And they said, we'll take other cons. And then they said future games such as Starfield, which is coming to Xbox, PC, and things like that. We'll take other consoles on a case-by-case basis in the future. Meaning they haven't ruled out that Starfield's probably going to come to PlayStation 5 as it is now. But let's say Starfield 2, they haven't made necessarily a decision to say that'll be coming to PS5. Same with any of these other future titles. And I think people are of mixed mind as to what Microsoft is going to do. And to be fair, they haven't said for upcoming Bethesda titles. Are they going to be locked into Xbox/PC exclusivity, or are they going to sell them on PlayStation? Because the argument's being made, why would you want to exclude PlayStation? You can sell millions of dollars worth of copies on there. Yes, but you could also put it on your subscription service and entice more people there, especially if it's on PC.
Drive people to your system.
If it plays off of PC, I think that's the win right there, because you have a lot of folks that might only buy one console, but they can still play the new Fallout if they're a PC gamer also and subscribe to Game Pass that way.
Now, is it the PC version or is it the Xbox version?
So that's part of what they're going to have to figure out. I would assume that it is a PC version of it. Now, caveat, there is talks, and Microsoft has said that at some point the game streaming service they have out for Android phones and stuff right now, they will make a PC version of that. So in theory, even if they didn't make a PC version of, say, Fallout 5, you could use Game Pass and the Game Pass app on your PC when that comes out to play Fallout 5.
Now, I'm sure you have a question for me, Chris.
I do. Willie, what do you think about this news? Is that the question I have for you?
No. I mean, in particular about being a PlayStation user primarily.
What question is I'm supposed to be asking you,
I like when
Willie?
Willie hurts Chris's brain.
No, Willie, being a PlayStation user primarily. how does this affect you? And you're looking forward to the next generation.
But we don't know how it affects you at this point.
Well, thank you for asking, Chris. I did a spot on Chris there, didn't I? Audio listeners won't have a damn clue.
That was a perfect impression of me. Thank you, Willie.
Right.
So, Willie, how does this make you feel as a PlayStation 5 gamer predominantly going forward when it comes to Bethesda games that you don't play? How does it make you feel?
To be honest, I don't give a shit. I mean, that's a big move for Microsoft. Not going to deny that. But Jesus, I don't really care. I haven't played a Fallout game since Fallout 3, and I barely played that.
That's fair. That's fair. Honestly, I don't know what to make of the move longer term to say what it means for exclusivity and things like that. There are some folks online that are saying, oh, this means that none of these Bethesda games will come to PlayStation after these current deals are done. We don't know that. Microsoft has played nice with their companies before. Minecraft's on other gaming systems.
Came out on the Switch.
Bethesda's put games out on the Switch as well. I mean,
actually, I think Minecraft just got a VR update on the PlayStation 2.
I believe it did as well. So it's really unknown what it means for the future of what Microsoft's going to do with that exclusivity. What it does show, at paying $7.5 billion, Microsoft has a lot of cash on hand. And there's a lot of people that are now theorizing, oh, Sony's going to go out there, get some big dick energy of their own and try to obtain one of these big studios. But they don't have as much cash on hand as Microsoft does. I think when I went and ran the numbers here, or when I went and found an article about it, this was barely a few percentage points from Microsoft's bottom line, how they looked at it, because they have so much excess cash because of all the other things that they are selling, i.e. Azure Web Services, Office, Windows licenses, support contracts, that it wasn't necessarily a big hit. But paying $7.5 billion shows that Microsoft is still committed to staying in the gaming side of things. Because remember, let's go back 4 or 5 years ago, right before Satya Nadella took over as CEO of Microsoft, before Phil Spencer took over leading the Xbox division, there was a lot of questioning going on based off of the flop of the Xbox. Is Microsoft going to back out of console gaming at this point in time? I don't think that's going to happen.
Wasn't there was talk of them just going straight PC, right?
There was talk
they were
of that.
just going to give up on the console division and just do Microsoft Windows stuff and PC gaming.
That's what they said. In the actual news articles I read, it was, quote, Microsoft expects this deal to close in the second half of fiscal year 2021, which ends June 30th, and, quote, to have minimal impact on its adjusted operating income for the current and next fiscal years. I.e., they just dropped $7.5 billion to buy Bethesda, and it has minimal impact to their bottom line.
Yeah.
That's some big
not until next year?
Yeah, it doesn't actually close out till next year. However, they've already started talking about the fact that Bethesda games and things that weren't there are going to be starting to come to Game Pass. Like Doom Eternal just announced for Game Pass in October, I believe it was. Things
well,
like
a lot of that too, it has to do with when you're talking like the console exclusives, making games so far ahead of time. Contracts for games are done so many years before the games are finished that, if they've been in talks to get this done now, like to make sure like everything's on board where they want it when they buy that company. Yeah, there's probably a whole lot of deals that have to run their course so that it comes up. Yeah, what did you say, July of next year?
Closing out by June of next year is the plan.
June of next year.
I mean, at this point, the deal's been agreed upon. It's just a matter of they've got to get all the paperwork sorted and all the approvals. So it is possible, in theory, could fall apart. But from the way both Bethesda and Microsoft / at the Xbox division are talking, this is something they've been working for years. It is just a formality at this point, letting the deal close.
That is some big dick swinging hammer. And that thing just leaves a big mushroom stamp, man.
One thing to consider now, Microsoft has 21 first-party studios under their banner.
They needed it.
Wow.
Well, and to be fair, they did need it. And there are some people on Reddit, which I think had the wrong take, that are going, Microsoft started buying these studios up 2 years ago. Where's the games? What's happening? They don't really realize that it's been 2 years. The life cycle of game development, we're just now getting to the point, some of those games that they might have started working when those acquisitions happened, we start hearing about. It takes like 4 years or so on a lot of these games.
I'm sorry.
Are good. Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Grant, I thought if I was releasing for a third generation.
Well, different thing here.
So glad I've never paid for any of those games.
I play GTA 5, but I don't play the online stuff, so I've never had to pay more than my original purchase price.
Yeah, I never paid for shark cards. Isn't that what they're called?
Yes, I believe that's it.
Yeah, I'm never going to do that.
And then I guess the other thing we should look at this to try and paint the better picture or to try and potentially explain away any hypocrisy I might be displaying. Remember, I was really pissy about the Spider-Man exclusivity for PlayStation, things like that. I am of mixed feeling in regard to Microsoft buying up a whole studio, what that means for exclusivity going forward. It is
Studios.
Yeah, it is slightly different in this regard, I would say. It's not I only get 90% of the game if I'm on an Xbox. It's a first-party exclusive going forward. So I wasn't pissy about the fact, for instance, that Sony had Marvel's Spider-Man because they had a deal with them that made it first-party exclusive. So I think this is slightly different than breaking up pieces of a game and making them console exclusive. But I can understand where people, especially folks who might be PlayStation 5 gamers, who like a lot of these Bethesda games, are kind of scratching their head going, I don't know what this means for me in the future. And side note, I did enjoy the fact that Microsoft announced this the day before Xbox pre-orders too.
Yeah.
That probably didn't help me trying to get an Xbox the next day.
And of course, competition makes consumers win.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Competition is good.
And I also noticed that PlayStation Instant Game Pass thing, what is it called? I can't remember the name off the top of my head. What they're releasing for when the PS5 comes out.
What is it, like the 24 PlayStation 4 Classics or something like that you get if you're a PSN
Yeah,
subscriber?
it's the PlayStation Plus Extended, or they just added a word to PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, I did notice that Fallout 4 was on there.
Again, another one of those deals that was probably in place.
Yep.
Yeah.
The PlayStation Plus Collection.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that just kind of makes me smile a little bit is that the whole time these deals are being made with Sony for these exclusive lock-ins on things, there's a whole other arm of Bethesda that's working the deal with Microsoft for the acquisition. So there's probably someone there going, the fuck is going on? They're going to be so freaking surprised when this goes through. But again, you had your bets appropriately.
You got the two teams working on it at Bethesda, but you got one team of lawyers that has to figure it all out.
by all accounts, from what I read on the news articles and stuff like that came out, is the number of people that knew on both Microsoft and Bethesda's side about what was going on, assuming this doesn't include the lawyers, you could put on two hands between both companies. It was kept that close between the management tiers. I would probably argue Phil Spencer, Satya Nadella on the Microsoft side with probably a few trusted deputies, and then whoever was doing on the Bethesda side. It was supposedly kept very close hold because it's a big move.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's the only way you can keep something like that on lockdown is it has to be very few people.
The fact that some of these folks that are big in games journalism didn't have this until like hours before it was announced, when you could argue Bethesda or Microsoft probably purposely leaked it before it was officially announced. That's kind of a big deal. And it was really interesting that when it got posted on the Xbox One subreddit, it was one Major Nelson, a.k.a. Larry Herb, who works at Microsoft, who posted it. And one of the first comments someone made was, how do we know this is legit? And then they edited it like a minute later and went, oh, I see who posted this. Never mind.
That's like my favorite ones when like somebody calls out a writer on Twitter, like, this writer doesn't know what they're talking about this character. It's like, I wrote that character for 200 issues. I love it when it's something like that. It's like, oh, you didn't realize who you were talking to.
Yeah, exactly. It's an interesting move. To wrap this whole thing up, I don't think we know what it means for the future of these games. We don't know what it means for things 2 to 3 years out from now. We just have to wait and see. I wouldn't be shocked if Microsoft decided to be like, nah, you got to come to Xbox or get Game Pass to play this. But at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked if they decided to keep selling them out there, because I have no idea what they're going to do. And Phil Spencer's always been of a mind of, we just want you to be able to play games. We don't necessarily care the console that it's on or the device. And obviously they would prefer it be on Xbox or PC. So who knows what they're going to do? It's just a wait and see at this point in time.
As I know, the more they keep adding up to that, like Xbox Ultra Gaming Pass thing, I think the better that is going to look in the long run for what we're going to get on PlayStation.
So
because PlayStation's going to have to figure out how to compete with that.
I should also mention there's a rumor floating around. I've seen it on a couple. I've seen it on the subreddit and a few other sites. I don't know how much credence I lend to it. That Microsoft has more acquisitions coming. That part I believe. And supposedly one of those acquisitions is Sega, if you believe what the rumors are.
Oh, Master Chief and Sonic
That's
the
not
Hedgehog,
for
huh?
us. That's for the
I've heard of
Japan
that.
market.
Mm.
They did sell out of
Yeah.
Xboxes in Japan for pre-order, which is good news for them. Now, I don't know how many there were, so clarification. That could mean they sold out of 10 Xboxes.
Man, that would be a roller coaster ride for Sega, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it, though?
When-
Yeah.
Went from making consoles to just being a third party to being a first party for a competing. Well, I guess they never really competed with Xbox. did
Yeah,
they?
Sega never competed with
Dreamcast was out the
Xbox.
same. Dreamcast was
I know
still
Dreamcast
being
was
made
out, but-
when the Xbox was out, wasn't it?
But didn't they already pull out of it though?
I
It
think
was
Dreamcast
shortly
was
thereafter.
ending its lifespan as the Xbox hit the market,
Yeah, it was like right around the same time.
if I remember correctly.
Now, I don't necessarily believe that, but it is an interesting argument, and you could see where it would be beneficial, especially in the Japanese market, to own Sega and be able to have some of those games that come
Yeah,
out.
because there's some
I
IP
mean,
there. There's some
I hope
IP
they
there that's
don't.
worth some money.
I mean, I hope they don't. Just because I like Sega being third party, the Sega.
And there, other people are reading way too much into it, but if you go and look at the new controllers that they announced, there was one that was black, one that was white, and then there's one that's blue, gray, and white, and people started going, those
mean
are
Sonic
Sonic
color?
colors. Those are Sonic colors.
What is it? The Sonic Blue?
No, it isn't.
Or-
But if you go and break,
Oh,
you can
okay.
find the words Sonic in the on the box art. People were saying, so like, this means it's going to be Sonic. I don't believe it, but it is a funny story to laugh about. And if it ends up being true, it's hilarious to me. But I don't
That's
foresee this being the case.
I'm
Wait a
looking forward
second.
to getting my PS5 digital edition with my Spider-Man Fantastic Four Future Foundation skin on the controller.
Yeah, pretty much is it.
Effectively.
It's the design of the Future Foundation outfits without them changing anything. You can
mean,
read into shit if you really want to.
I will say I am excited to play Miles Morales Spider-Man. And
It looks so good.
what is it I'd seen on that one? If you buy the PlayStation 5 version, you can't play it on PS4. But if you buy the PS4 version of Miles Morales, you can play it on PS5 and get a free upgrade to the PS5 version. So in Willie's case, for instance, if you're not able to secure a PS5, just buy the PS4 version of Miles
Buy
Morales
the 4 and then upgrade.
and then upgrade. Now, caveat, you can't copy your save game over to the PS5. None of that transfers over. So you
Oh
won't have
no, I have to play it over again. This awesome
Yeah.
looking game. Whatever shall I do? My world is
To be
ending.
fair, I only bring this stuff up because there's been some confusion about how the upgrade process is going to work in regards to next gen game or current
Yeah.
gen to next gen on these ones. And Microsoft threw a slight bit of shade when they posted, "Hey, here's our Twitter thread on how to get the Xbox Series version of the game on these Xbox One games. Play the game." And that was all the tweet was effectively. So things like Cyberpunk, you just put it in the disk drive and it pulls down the series version of it.
Huh, you think I'm gonna buy the disc version? That's adorable.
I don't know that you necessarily, but the same thing would apply on the digital versions as well.
Which I am very happy with. Oh, and I also saw something about people were worried about the file size of like the next games,
Yes.
the next generation games. Apparently, it's not gonna be that much worse because I forget which game they just showed it off in. It said like the PS4 version is gonna be 52 gigs and the PS5 version is only gonna be 50 gigs. I forget what game it was.
Well, there's some optimization being done too. I would.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think
And
I read-
unless you want
I
to play
was
Call of
reading
Duty,
on-
and then it'll be 150
Oh,
gigs, and your next
no.
patch will be 140 gigs, where it deletes
Oh.
everything you had on there before to put the new patch in place.
Yeah, but you have to download the whole thing all over again.
It's
God, they do it the worst way.
the worst way.
From what they said, it pretty much is. I'm no technical talking person when it comes to this, but they said like the PS5, since the SSD would it wouldn't have to duplicate things. God, what was it? I had it in my head. I'm no technical speaking person. It wouldn't have to duplicate things. I forget what the things were, but you know the things.
Assets.
Assets. That's it.
I think we might have beaten this news story into the ground. Did anyone else have any final thoughts on next-gen console gaming? Let's just leave it at that because we've kind of just bounced around all of them right now.
I'm trying.
I'll get my PS5 digital version eventually. But yeah, I'm in no rush.
Give me that disc for that 4K Blu-ray.
It's pretty nice. I watch 4K Blu-rays on my Xbox.
I also saw that meme was was it Fairly Odd Parents? Someone's like, "This is where I would keep my PS5 pre-order," and it says, "If I had one."
To be fair, everyone's got the same problem with that right now. But that wraps up the console gaming news portion of the show. We might have beaten the horse dead a little bit there. Let's move things over to Bachman. What do you got news-wise for us, buddy?
Marvel just put out, we have an update for our movie releases. So the end of the Phase 4 films have now been given new confirmed dates because everybody's been waiting to see when the hell we were actually going to get Black Widow, since it's about 6 months late now. Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and the Eternals have all been given what are now supposedly solid new release dates, all in 2021. So this year is just a wash. No Marvel films in 2020.
Films is the key word, though.
Yeah. No Marvel films. But yeah, so we've got Black Widow has now been moved to May 7th, 2021, where we'll see the kind of background story of Black Widow and some of her family members. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is set for July 9th, 2021, where we'll get to see Simu Liu stars the world's greatest martial artist, Shang-Chi, which I'm excited for because Shang-Chi is a character I love. And they actually have a new comic coming out. Marvel's releasing a new comic. I don't know if it'll be out before that film. Probably. I don't remember the release date coming out, but yeah, there's a new Shang-Chi book that's hitting stands pretty soon with, I think Sean Chen's doing the artwork, and it's just gorgeous.
I like Sean Chen's work.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's very pretty. And Shang-Chi has a new costume in it, too, which is kind of cool. It's an updated gold and red dragon motif costume, which looks really good. For those that don't know, Shang-Chi was basically the Bruce Lee of the Marvel Universe back in the Kung Fu and blaxploitation days of the 70s when a lot of Marvel characters were created. They're like, well, we need a Bruce Lee character. Well, we'll call him Shang-Chi. And they just made somebody up. But it's basically Bruce Lee in the Marvel Universe, and it's awesome. And then the Eternals, we'll finally get to see Kumail Nanjiani as a superhero, even though apparently like he's still staying buff. He just put up a new Instagram post about his cheat day, and people were asking like if you're still filming. He's like, no, I'm just staying in shape after I got this ripped, because why not? He looks like a mini Dave Bautista now. It's fucking creepy. But yeah, like people would not fuck with Kumail Nanjiani right now. He would beat your ass. Like he's buff. It's awesome. But yeah, Eternals has been moved out to November 5th of 2021. So we got the Undying Eternals at the end of the year. We got Shang-Chi in the middle of the year, and Black Widow to kick things off in May. So we got 3 of the Marvel films to look forward to next year that will bring all the Phase 4 stuff to completion, and then we can see the launch of what we're hoping will be the new MCU with all the post Endgame stuff, possible introduction of the FF. Possible introduction of the mutants. We'll hopefully, I would hope by the time Black Widow comes out, we'll have Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness trailer, depending on when Sam Raimi and them get to actually start filming. Because, everything's been so delayed before Black Widow comes out. We've got Marvel hasn't really said what's coming next. We don't have any more clues.
Well, and if you believe the rumors, that's because supposedly things happen in Black Widow that may set up more of the upcoming phase.
Yes,
and they don't really want to talk about it until then. And if you believe the ongoing rumor, it is that the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show was supposed to have things that tie into Black Widow, whatever happens in that, to set up story points for them. So there are rumors going now that they may delay Falcon and Winter Soldier until next year after Black Widow comes out, which is probably why it's good we got WandaVision trailer dropped and announced, and now it is the most viewed Marvel trailer for any of their TV programs.
Yeah, it got a few hits. A few hits, and it is a creepy trailer. Like, it looks so creepy. Like, they did a really good job with it. It was like, it's just disturbing of them like stuck in some type of time warp, and you don't really know what it is. Like, is it Vision's last moments of life before the gem was pulled out of his head? Is it just some damn bullshit that Wanda came up with? Because, I mean, in the comics, her powers are basically unlimited. She can make anything. And did she make a reality where Vision's still alive?
There are some House of M references in the trailer, which tend to imply they could be adapting some of the elements from House of M, where she went a little crazy and created her own little world with her kids and husband and things like that.
When's it dropping again?
Sometime holiday. They didn't actually give the official release.
Yeah,
somewhere between October and December is the rumor.
I mean,
I would assume
Halloween's a holiday.
I would assume it's going to... Well, remember, Mandalorian drops October 30th or 31st. I would assume once Mandalorian wraps its run, that's when they drop WandaVision. That would be my guess. Because I don't think that Disney would be like, hey, let's put two of these really popular things out at the same time.
Streaming.
Yeah, the Wikipedia says it's
weekly.
not coming until December. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't have a specific date.
They're weekly shows, so that's why they're not going to put them out at the
I
same
forgot
time.
about that.
Yeah, they'll wait until after the Mandalorian gives them another huge bump of viewers, and then they'll release it.
This is how you keep people subscribed, is you keep all the content coming.
Yep.
So that's why I figure WandaVision, you take a 2-week break after Mandalorian, then start WandaVision. You have, 8 episodes of that? Is the rumor?
More Mando!
I mean, I hope my buddy stays a subscriber.
and here's something I mentioned this. I think it was on my Facebook page. Marvel's like, oh shit, we can't make movies right now because it's too much of a pain in the ass, and nobody can go into a movie theater because they're all shut down. So what do? Oh, we make more TV series because I mentioned this in our group chat. I think it was Friday. This came out. Variety reported Samuel L. Jackson signed and on board for a Nick Fury Disney Plus television show. So Samuel L. Jackson is coming back to TV, guys.
Is he going to be in space?
That's the question. Is this older when he's still with S.H.I.E.L.D., or is this Samuel L. Jackson running S.W.O.R.D., which then can tie into Captain Marvel and the more cosmic side of the house that Disney wants to get some of the MCU to?
No. He's underground. It's in the past. It's all the misadventures that we don't know, and it's Sam Jackson running the Howling Commandos.
That'd be pretty sweet.
But how old would the Howling Commandos have to be?
Who cares?
That's a good point.
To be fair, Sam Jackson
between Captain Marvel and the Ant-Man films, we know that Marvel has the tech to de-age anybody and make it look perfect.
That is true.
Whoever you want at any age.
It is a bit expensive, though, especially for a... Now, granted, Disney Plus television shows get a bit more budget than a television show on, say, ABC or something like that. But I don't exactly see that being cost-friendly to do an 8-episode series of Samuel L. Jackson de-aged. That's why I think they're going to be going...
Cool?
Wouldn't
it be cool?
That's why I think they're going with S.W.O.R.D. for it.
I want to see space.
They laid all those seeds out there, and then they can eventually tie that into Captain Marvel.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Sam Jackson in charge of S.W.O.R.D. would be kind of cool.
And Sorry, go ahead.
It makes you wonder about... Because I'm trying to think, what's the character that was dating Beast that used to run S.W.O.R.D.? Because I wonder if that's a character that would ever be introduced then.
Agent Brand, was that who it was?
Yeah, isn't Agent Brand with the green hair?
Yeah.
Because that was she was kind of a crazy chick. Like, they had some good stories where she was bossing people around and kicking ass, protecting the Earth. So it makes you kind of wonder if those stories would get shifted over to Nick since we don't have the mutants yet.
Look, so here's something I think that could be really cool, and I don't know that it would actually happen. But if they do Nick Fury, Agent of S.W.O.R.D., running S.W.O.R.D. with all the extraterrestrial threats, who deals predominantly with that in the MCU so far? One, Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. How effing cool would it be if they made it so that Brie Larson showed up as Captain Marvel in an episode or two of the Sam Jackson's Nick Fury show? Not to be like, all right, before my words get twisted, to be like, oh, she's got to play second fiddle to Nick Fury. No, it's his show, and it just makes sense to potentially bring her in to further some of the story threads in Captain Marvel. Please, no one get this twisted as my be like, the only way we can have Captain Marvel is with Nick Fury.
Well, no, and she is kind of the space cop that they set up. What would be better is if by the end of S.W.O.R.D., you find out that the Nova Corps has reconstituted itself and Rich fucking Rider shows up to protect the Earth.
That would be freaking
as the
sweet.
Nova Corps member assigned to protect Earth.
That'd be sweet.
That would be fucking better.
Yeah, because we didn't get much with the Nova Corps other than they showed up in Guardians, and then they're all dead.
Get the real Nova Corps. Yeah, we got Nova, we got military people that flew planes. We didn't get people with powered helmets that are basically like Green Lanterns. People that have their own internal power source that can fly through space and be space cops. I want my goddamn Nova Corps that are space cops the real way.
I can't blame you on that one.
Yeah.
There's only one way this Nick Fury show can end. He somehow gets flung through a black hole, and he comes out the other side in a galaxy far, far away. And he becomes Mace Windu.
And he becomes a Jedi.
And that's the origin of Mace Windu.
That's pretty sweet, actually.
He gets
That
the
means
eye
wait.
replacement.
He
That
gets his eye
means
back.
that means Marvel and Star Wars are connected.
They already were. Don't you remember? Was it back in the early 2000s or late 90s? I forget when that comic came out where Han Solo landed
That's not
or something.
canon.
I mean, it can be canon.
That was
now,
a
can't
Dark Horse comic where Han Solo crash landed in a jungle in the Millennium Falcon, and then Indiana Jones finds the wreck of the Falcon years later.
Wait. No. You're going way too far up. It's much easier than that. The Cavalry finished Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then she hopped through a black hole and became an assassin in The Mandalorian.
But she's dead.
Still there. Still happened.
I don't want May to be dead.
I still haven't finished this.
And she's
this
not
show.
actually dead.
Don't be spoiling.
Even in Star Wars, even when you see a body, that doesn't mean they're dead.
Because somehow Palpatine returned.
Exactly.
I mean,
Nine movie
fuck
series
off.
about 9 movie series about Shev Palpatine.
No, it's really only 7. Because he wasn't mentioned at all in episodes 7 and 8.
Well, he wasn't mentioned, but he was Snoke. So therefore, those movies are about him too, technically.
Ugh.
It doesn't really
I
bother
can
me.
feel Chris's love of Star Wars. Blah.
Not bother me in the
Disney
slightest.
doesn't
Who
get
cares?
Star Wars and movies.
No,
Let
they
me
got it.
rephrase.
They already got it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, no, they got it.
yeah.
But I think what Chris is saying is that they got it the same way Zack Snyder got Superman. I mean, he got to make the movie, but
Now he's
doesn't
getting-
mean he got the character.
Now he's getting to spend $70 million and get reshoots to do the Snyder Cut, which was already done, which he just needed to do a little bit of work on, supposedly. So, yeah, that was a fucking
he's
lie.
He's not getting one of the actors back. Did you see?
Who's not coming back?
Henry Cavill.
Henry
Too
Cavill's
busy with
supposed-
Witcher 2.
Oh, yeah, that's probably true. He signed a new
Or
deal
Witcher
supposedly with
season.
DC, but we'll see what comes of that.
Yeah, because I thought, they had him under a new contract to do certain
That
Superman
hasn't
stuff.
been deemed
He's-
official yet. That's still rumor. Last I had seen.
He's a great Superman.
He's a
Well,
good
the
Superman.
upside is, he's not bad as Clark or Superman. None of the problems with that movie that I had were his fault. But the upside is that at least as the Witcher, he doesn't have a huge mustache.
It's true. And then there's also
It's just a wig. He can take the wig off between filming different shows.
there's also a rumor that he is a front runner to be the next James Bond after Daniel Craig. I don't believe it because he'll be, by the time that movie would be coming out, he'll be 41, 42, and they like to have James Bond a little younger so they can have him be multiple movies easily.
Yeah.
Don't
I've
get me
seen one
wrong.
different, but I can't remember who.
Well, there's also been Bane. Tom Hardy was rumored to get it
That's
also.
what I heard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nobody
And
really
then both-
knows.
Both
Don't
look
pay
good in a
attention to
suit.
it. Yeah.
Both look good in a suit.
They're going to go younger, I think. They're going to do someone in their early to mid 30s. So that they
Tom
can,
Holland.
So they can easily have them around. Tom Holland's in his 20s, though. And he's already
I want-
Nathan Drake.
You could do 27 James Bond films with Tom Holland by the time he would age out of it. That would be awesome.
That's true.
All of a sudden, Tom Holland's like a 16-year-old kid. His voice is cracking as he goes to the casino to straighten his tie. Give me a martini! That would be so great.
Is it not still Heineken anymore?
I don't know if that deal is still
I
in
think they
place
only did
anymore.
that for one movie. Yeah, I think the Broccoli family only signed the Heineken thing for one film. I don't think it was a permanent change.
And did it really make anyone buy a Heineken?
No.
It probably made a couple people.
You're probably not wrong.
All right. Well, I think that does wrap up our news this week. If you're watching the pre-show, we did promise a return of a segment we haven't done in like a year. It does have one of my favorite bumps of all time associated with it. Yes,
Yay.
we're bringing
Oh,
this
God.
bad boy back.
Unprotected Advice with Willie D. Nelson.
I'm protected all the way in, baby.
That's right. It is a return of unprotected advice. For those that aren't aware, this is where Willie takes his life lessons and wisdom that he's learned, and he gives advice to folks who are in need of it. And if you want to get some advice from Willie Nelson, feel free to tweet the official Twitter account at ATGN Podcast. We'll put it in the backlog. Otherwise, we tend to troll around through Reddit to find some things where Willie can offer his advice, and then Anthony and I can chime in as to whether we agree with Willie or how we might want to modify said advice.
I think I've been on a roll.
I mean, it's been a while since we've done it, but I think you've been on a roll also. I do have 2 things queued up for you today. One is a little bit funnier than the other, so we'll do the more serious one first, and then we'll go to the one that I think is a little ridiculous, might actually be fake, but let's talk about it because it's funny anyways. So for those of you that are watching live, we'll bring it up on screen so you can read the actual post on r/relationship advice. I will read it aloud for those of you that are listening to the audio podcast. So my apologies, because that means I have to read it aloud. This one is I, 24-year-old male, fancy my flatmate, 21-year-old female, but our other flatmates are strict on me not acting on it. All right, so I'll try to keep it short. I've had feelings for my flatmate, as said, for quite some time now, much stronger than I'm really willing to let on. Naturally, I've expressed this to our 2 other flatmates who have repeatedly gone and barred me from acting on it. Their reasoning being that it'd be, quote, too awkward around the flat. If you fight and break up, the lease will be fucked. Whilst I understand these concerns, I can't help but feel as though they're policing my love life. At times, I felt as though keeping us separate has become sort of a fun challenge for the 2 of them. I know that sounds a bit theatrical or whatever, but truly, if she and I are alone, they'll find some way to interrupt us. It's gotten incredibly frustrating on my end, and I think it's incredibly childish. I have more feelings on that, but I don't want to bore everyone and rant, so... Should I simply ignore their feelings and act on mine? I'm not sure. I would want to respect their concerns, as they are really close mates. But I'm also a selfish dick and want to be with the girl I've fancied for almost 2 years. Thanks in advance. Willie, have you ever been in a situation similar to this?
No, not at all.
Okay, so have you been in a situation before where there's been a gal that you fancied that your friends didn't want you to be with?
Not particularly.
Well, then I'm not sure that we might have the right necessary skills to advise properly here. But Willie, please share your unprotected advice.
Oh, yeah. The roommates are definitely in the right here. Yeah, because if something does happen that goes south, yeah, they're going to be the ones that have to pay for it, pretty much.
So true love doesn't conquer all, Willie?
I never said it did. I would never say that's a thing.
True love doesn't pay the mortgage.
That's true.
Or pays its share of the rent, apparently.
Yeah, or its share of the flat rent.
Yeah, I mean, plus, if you start seeing each other, then that's just going to be weird and awkward. Like, man, can't you just hook up once and be good?
Then that might lead to more, which causes further complexities.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, don't even do that. Don't listen to me on that one. Yeah. But yeah, definitely don't act on that. Don't act on that.
The return of unprotected advice that we instantly get, don't listen to me.
I mean, in the hooking up one time. Don't listen to that. But yeah, but definitely don't act on it at all, because that's just a headache waiting to happen. A time bomb.
I don't know. What if they try to come to some sort of agreement that we don't let this impact everything going forward? I don't know.
You can say that all you want beforehand, but that's probably going to not change a thing about because you don't know what's going to happen afterwards. You don't know how it's going to end. It could end horribly.
But it could end wonderfully, though, Willie.
Well, then you know what? Wait till you're not roommates. I'm sorry, flatmates.
Well, I mean, they did say, the way he described this, he did mention 2 years in there. So it's not like this is a recent development from the way it's described in there.
I mean, you just got to move out, man, if you want to try and pursue it. That's all there is to it. To make things, right with everybody, especially the people who not involved with the relationship part.
I mean, I think it would be an awkward thing, but I'm not really sure how you as a roommate can be like, no, I'm going to say you shouldn't try and have a relationship with this person. That kind of rubs me the wrong way at the same time, too. I don't know what the right answer is.
I mean, because it would affect them, so I would say they would have a right to say something about it.
Is it in the roommate agreement? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, what's in the roommate agreement? We didn't ask about that.
Yeah. What is the roommate? Is this like a unwritten rules?
No, they're
or
written.
Something?
They're written and signed. They're the rules in Big Bang Theory, the roommate agreement.
I mean, but in all seriousness,
Yeah, I don't watch
I'm
that.
just going
Which
back.
includes a time traveling clause.
It's true. So let me put myself in my own shoes here temporarily. It's like when I was in college and had roommates. I say roommate agreement facetiously, but we did kind of have rules of the house and things like that. And granted, we were all dudes living together that were all straight, so there really wasn't going to be a problem of I'm going to hook up with my roommate because none of us were interested in anything like that. But we did sort of flesh out what the rules were if you were bringing someone back home or things like that, or how things should be handled in the apartment. I'm sure something like that must have been done, even if informally, amongst these roommates.
I mean, I don't think anyone really comes out with saying, dating rules, for roommates. I don't think they really think that far ahead.
I mean, that's true. And to be fair, I've never had a roommate that was not of the same sex as I was until I was, in a relationship with someone who then moved into said house. It was never just legit just roommates or friends that lived together that were of differing sexes. So I haven't experienced that.
Yeah.
Don't hook up with them is Willie's advice.
Yeah, don't do that. It's just that's just gonna create some awkwardness.
I mean, you've been waiting 2 years. I guess you can wait a bit longer. I don't know.
By moving out, that's the way.
Yeah, eventually get your own place and then give it a shot. Yeah, don't ruin the situation that you live
This
in.
person doesn't even know if they're interested either, though. Too at the same time.
Yeah.
Or for comical bad advice, let's just say, like annoy her so much that she moves out and then try something.
I'm sure that's going to work out just perfectly.
Probably not
comical
the best idea.
non-advice. Disclaimer.
So, Willie, are you ready for the next round of unprotected advice?
One quick thing for the last thing. Like I said,
Yes.
Disclaim her. You gotta diss her, then you claim her, and then she's yours. Comical non-advice.
No.
I'm glad you clarified that as being the comical non-advice at the end. So, this next one, it was fresh a week ago when I first saw it, but we weren't able to do it. Let me read the title to you, and then get your reaction, then we'll go into the body of it. This was posted 7 days ago. My girlfriend does not feel we can be together if I continue to play female characters in games. Are you ready for this one?
I'm a little curious about what type of games. Tabletop games? Like D&D? Are we talking about like custom created characters in video games? Go ahead. I'm just curious.
So for context, me and my girlfriend play online games a lot. And recently she's been telling me that she can't deal with me playing female characters of any type. I've told her she doesn't need to worry because I am not attracted to them and playing these characters is not related to how I feel about their looks or hers, but she is really pushing this as a deal breaker for us. She feels like she needs me to be all hers, and when I'm choosing to play these characters, it's like giving attention to other girls, and it hurts her to the point where she can't handle it. I've since been playing male characters, but I'm still really confused and would love an outside perspective. It's important to note that she realizes that she has unfair expectations of me, and that is just how her insecurities are, and she can't help or fix it. For a bit of added information, we are both adults in our 20s. This one strikes me as odd. Now, I mean, we've all played video games before, and I'm sure there's been instances in an RPG or some kind of other game where we've decided to play as a member of the opposite sex.
First of all, I just want to wonder. I'm just this in my own head. I was like wondering how they first met. I'm guessing it was Second Life.
Does that even work anymore?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it does. It's just funny to me. And I'm also curious at who brought it up first about the about saying, "Oh, I don't play these female characters because I'm attracted to them." Like, who brought that up first? Was it her or him?
My assumption, based off the way it's described here, is they've been playing a lot, and recently she's been telling me she can't deal with me playing, and then he says, "I have told her she doesn't need to worry." So my understanding, based off how it's written, is that he said that after she expressed her concerns over his playing as a female character.
That's just weird. That's the first place your mind goes. Like, no, I'm not playing him because I'm attracted to him. Like, wait.
We're probably missing some other context in there for things that she might have been saying in regards to it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's just... I mean, it is a little ridiculous that she's feeling that way. I mean, not ridiculous, but you know what I mean. It's just like, it's just.
Nah, it's fairly ridiculous.
I mean, it's all right. It's just a video game character. I mean, although people are weird with some things like that, Rule 34 does exist.
So there are a couple posts or comments of his that got voted to the top, and I'll read 2 of them because that's as much as I see right now. He said, "She's told me it comes from a place of insecurity, and she doesn't blame me if I leave because of how she is. She's had therapy in the past, but refuses to have it now because she's had it for so many years and believes it hasn't helped. Whilst I don't mind just playing male characters, I feel like this insecurity will have real-world problems in the future when it comes to real-life females." And he also continues to say, "I want to do whatever I can to make this easier for her, but I don't know how to ask her for some effort on her half without sounding hurtful. I feel like giving her what she wants when it comes to things like this is a temporary solution to the whole problem." And I think those are well said statements. That is, he's acknowledging that she has concerns with this. And whilst we look at it and go, this seems kind of ridiculous, it is something that is a problem to her, but she doesn't really, from the way he's described this, want to do anything to get over said problem other than have him stop doing it. And I think his statement there is possible concerns for real world problems in the future based off of this kind of almost jealousy is something that were I the OP in this case, I would be concerned about a little bit.
So I'm guessing even how long does it say how long they've been in a relationship for? Has he not had female friends around or anything like that?
It doesn't say anything like that in there.
Because if that's like a worry for the future, is like, I mean, I kind of understand the quarantine thing, not really if it's just a recent thing.
Here's 2 more follow-up posts or comments he had. "I've tried to address the fact she's worrying over things that aren't real, and her response is that guys masturbate to these female characters, though, so it's real enough."
I mean, they do.
Continuing, she says she's just insisting that whilst I don't see it like that, and whilst I know it's not the feeling she gets when I play female characters, is very much real, and not understanding that it's not real to her is just hurtful. She says she can compromise some, but that's about it. That's not who she is. Were I this guy, I would have concerns. This itself, this game aspect, it's not a deal breaker. It's weird. But what does it mean for other things? Say he's got a female coworker that he's friends with or something like that. Is it going to eventually turn into you can't hang out with her because of these same kind of feelings? Great. None of us are psychologists trained anything like that. This is just, I would have concerns where I am, and where I am, I'd be like, I don't know how we broach this. I can live with the change when it comes to gaming, but what am I supposed to, what is this going to lead to going forward? How do we address what the problem is so that this doesn't lead to further problems in the future?
I mean, it's a very, very distinct type of person that would, think that way about their game characters. And I think you would know if the person you're dating is one of those types of people.
Yeah.
Right?
I would think so too.
Yeah.
I mean, I never really understood why people, chose female, the opposite gender. Like, I just don't understand it myself because I never really do. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be myself.
So I think,
I think it depends on the game.
Yeah. If it's an RPG like Mass Effect, I tend to play a male character. But if it's something like World of Warcraft or something like that, I don't think it really makes a difference whether you're male or female. So maybe you play female because you just want to try something different, or you like the voice actors.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
In Mass Effect?
Mass Effect, it changes your love interests.
I thought you could have any love interest you wanted, no matter the gender.
No.
Really? I thought you could. Huh.
Some characters only lock to certain sexes.
Fair enough. I did not know that.
Yeah, because I know, like World of Warcraft, I played mostly male characters. I think I might have made 1 or 2 female characters. City of Villains, I remember I made almost all male characters, except I made 1 female character that was evil scientist that I loved playing that character. It was just different character ideas. But then in those games, like, you're choosing when you're making a character what you want to do. But something like Apex, the choice of character determines what you can actually do in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, it might be a weird thing where, like, depending on what game he's playing, he may be playing a female character because that's the tool set that he likes using.
It sounds like it's an MMO, so it doesn't really matter.
That was the implication I got.
Yeah.
That's how I read it. That's how I read it.
They said they play together.
Because they play together. So it's not like he's playing like Tomb Raider because it's single player. You got no choice but to play as Lara Croft. Things like that. So,
say Lara?
People have said both. Calm down.
That sounds so wrong. It's like saying Mario.
Super Mario Brothers and Sonic the Hedgehog.
God, no. You need to look up Sardnarg the Hedgehog.
How about Master Chef? Master Chef?
Master Chef.
Oh, can I get that that Metroid game? Yeah, I like that woman.
Samus?
Samus the Metroid.
Well, I mean, in all seriousness, the original poster in this one, I would have concerns going forward, not necessarily because this problem exists, but because what does it mean for future kind of things? What does it mean if he has a friend that's a woman and that's her insecurity and she can't get over it and doesn't want to do anything to deal with it? I don't think the solution is you don't get to have any female friends. The solution shouldn't necessarily be you shouldn't get to play as female video game characters, because I don't think there's a compromise here or trying to fix whatever the problem is.
I would say if it's not a big deal for them, just all right, fine, I'll switch to male characters, whatever. Like if that's that big of a deal. But the moment anything like that other worry comes up, like you can't have female friends, like you got to deal with that front and center. And as soon as something like that happens.
Yeah. Clarification. It doesn't say anything in the original post about that, but he does say in a follow-up comment that he has concerns about what this means for future things, which I think is fair. That's fair.
Does sound fair. Like it's a logical leap.
You're muted, Bachman.
But, yeah.
Well, fixing the video game problem, it's not a hard thing, but the future problems that it looks like it's probably going to create would be something that's going to have to be dealt with.
The fact that
first moment you sense that.
In the fact that he said in one of his follow-up comments is that she's been to therapy but doesn't want to go anymore to deal with these kind of things. That would be my concern, because it makes it seem to me, maybe I'm wrong in this, that she's not of a mindset of willing to overcome what the issue may be or to address it, so that relationships are about compromise. I get it. Things like that. But it seems kind of innocuous to me that one of the concerns is you can't play a female character, and my concern would be, what does that mean for his interactions with other women going forward? And not necessarily interactions in a bad way. It could be that one of his friends is a lady, or he's checking out at the grocery store and the cashier flirts with him. And he's like,
it could be a waitress at a restaurant.
Yeah. Or he tips the waitress a little extra because it's been a rough night for her because of somebody sees the next table and it gets read into the wrong way.
Oh, no. He gave her some extra tip because she was on top of giving those refills for when you sucking down those sweet teas.
And we're doing a lot of what ifing here. And I only bring that up because the original poster did. So, I mean, I guess the concern would be, or the advice would be, is if it's just about video games, make the change, but keep your eye open for what it means for other things going forward. And if that becomes a deal breaker, then walk.
No.
Well, guys, that was unprotected advice. How did it feel to come back to it?
Dirty.
I thought about playing us off, but I don't think we need the bump another time right now. Or do we need the bump?
No.
Billy, it's your segment. Do we need to play it off with the bump?
You know what? If you like the bump, do the bump. If you don't mind, care one way, then don't worry about it.
We're not going to worry about it. We will try and do this a bit more frequently. It's probably been about 9 months since we did the last segment. And for those that want to catch the previous installments of Unprotected Advice, if you go over to atgnpodcast.com, there is a categories marker on the right side toolbar. You should be able to click on the one that says Unprotected Advice, and it will take you to all of our episodes in which we have done unprotected advice previously. I think we're up to 6 or 7 now, maybe? I probably should have checked this before we started doing the podcast.
And of course, unprotected advice never ends in just the tips.
Oh my.
It's true.
We go full-fledged in.
It's not on the sidebar, so I need to bring that back to the sidebar, because evidently they've removed that.
You could say we whop it up.
Wireless access point?
I was going to... I'm sorry, what?
Wireless access point.
No, I was going to say a wet-ass pickle, but, who doesn't like pickles?
Pickly.
Even the pickle juice, so wet.
All right, so that does wrap us up on the show, wrap up the segment. Before we shut things down, though, we have one last segment for you guys, a little bit called What I'm Into. It's where we share with you guys who are watching live or listening at a later date just what kind of geeky and or nerdy things we've been getting into so that you might want to go check them out yourselves. Let's kick things off with one Mr. Anthony Bachman.
I went on a little tour of the city of Everett, Washington. So I had the fun of going up to the Funko headquarters and got myself a nice T-shirt with a Sasquatch on it. And yeah, I got a jacket. I got other T-shirts. I got basically Christmas presents for everybody. But the really fun thing is I finally was able to find one of the pops that I'd wanted and had missed because it was one of the limited edition ones, and it was here and gone in my town, and I never got to even see one. And I got my ass the big damn Hulk from Thor Ragnarok.
Nice.
Giant oversized. He's got the, huge mohawk. He's got the engine block on the end of a stick that he's using as a club. Yeah, this is going to be coming out the box and going on a shelf where all my movies are. Because, yeah, this was what I wanted for a long time. But, yeah, that store is so much fun. They basically took up almost a half of a city block, and every section is separated out with its own giant oversized Funko Pops. They have the giant oversized Funko Pops on the outside of the building, on the skywalk across to the parking lot on the other side of the street. Giant, huge flashing lights that says the Funko HQ on the building. It was so much damn fun. The only downside is we found out on our way there that they had build your own pops, like the way they have like build your own lightsabers at Disneyland. And the build your own station was closed due to COVID. And that wasn't on their website. So like that part sucked because you could make like a monster or a Freddy Funko. And they're like, oh, it's limited. You can only make one a day. And it's like, okay, so if we're there for 3 days, we could make 3 of them. And yeah, couldn't make any because that section was closed.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. Other than that, it was fantastic. It was middle of the week, so the store wasn't like super packed. They had, the social distancing. All the employees are wearing masks. They got, the hand sanitizer right next to the baskets at the start of the store. But yeah, like the DC section has its own section of the store. Marvel has its own section of the store. The Star Wars section is a giant snow fort that's got Vader and stormtroopers on one side, and a huge Wampa and an upside down Luke Skywalker on the other side in an ice cave. Like, it is an amazing, like, just to walk through it and take pictures. It's an amazing store. And yeah, so did that. Stayed at a really cool hotel right down the street from the Navy base that I used to live at for 4 years, where I could actually see my base from the hotel we were at, which was really cool. And then, I had some great meals. An awesome meal in the hotel restaurant we were at. The hotel itself was really nice. Sadly, they had an apartment complex that was being built right next door to it. That part of it had burnt down, so they had to restart construction. So at 7 a.m. every morning, they were like had equipment out there slamming in pylons for the basis of a new building. Which, yeah, they started at 7 a.m. every fucking morning, which kind of sucks for vacation. But other than that, it was great. So yeah, I've been out of the loop, missing things. I got to catch up on the boys today, catch up on some of my video games. I got to finish getting up to gold rank for Apex before the season ends. But yeah, had a fun trip, bought a ton of Funko Pops, and just, spent way too much money. But we had a blast.
Is that the reason you went there? Because the Funko headquarters?
Basically.
All right, Bachman, I'm done.
Yeah, we took a road trip and went to the Funko headquarters.
Our friend Neil has made the trip before a couple times too.
Yeah,
Neil from Stellar Tribune,
it's
aka
a fucking
Neil
awesome store, man. Yeah, and it just happens to be in the town where I lived for 4 years when I was in the Navy.
I should be surprised. I should be. That's the reason why you chose that. I should be. But look behind you.
Yeah, look behind. How are you surprised I would go to the Funko store? Like,
no, the Funko headquarters store. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I was like wondering this whole time, like, why did he go on vacation? Like, what's there? Like, I was like, the Funkos, fucking Fun
Yeah, and
codes.
weirdly enough, the year I moved to Everett, Washington was 1998, and the year that Funko was founded was 1998.
Oh.
That company was built the year I went there to check in on board my ship, but it didn't become a huge company until later. But yeah, the year they started Funko was the year I went to Everett, Washington.
Nice.
It just happens to be the little tiny town where my little ship was, and one of the smallest naval bases we have in the U.S. Navy.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Sounds like it was fun. I saw a couple pictures on your Instagram. It looked like it was a blast.
Yeah, I have to do some photos of the loot once I lay it all out. Because yeah, got home so late last night, like I didn't really unpack anything. Like just put the stuff away that needed to be put away, and then got caught up on like some emails and stuff, and then went to bed.
Makes sense.
I was like, and I was also driving and chugging monsters all day. It's like it's going to take me a while to wind down. I need to try to go to bed as soon as I can, or I'm going to miss the podcast in the morning.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, it was a fun trip. We had a good time, so I enjoyed myself. I believe my lady Miss Jana had a fun time. So yeah, it was a good trip. And a lot cheaper than going to Disney.
No, ain't that the truth? And a lot less COVID risk.
True.
Yeah, a lot less
it was
COVID-y.
nice. Yeah, the store was almost empty the 2 days we went, so it was kind of nice because it never felt like crowded. So you could take your time, move around stuff. Yeah, I got a picture of me sitting inside the 1966 Batmobile next to a plastic Adam West Batman. Like, it's pretty fucking awesome.
That sounds like it would have been fantastic and a ton of fun. I'm going to go next with what I've been getting into. Watched The Boys last night. It's pretty awesome. I'm sad we've only got 2 episodes left, and I'm not quite sure how they're going to end this season because there's still a lot of balls in the air. I've been playing some Among Us on my iPad, and I bought it on PC also and just started playing it there. It's a lot of fun. I want to try and set up some kind of game night with folks because you can play it for free on iOS or Android. And if we could get folks who are interested in playing, we could use one of the audio Discord channels on the Gonna Geek Discord and abide by the rules, which is you can't talk unless there's a vote being called, and if you're dead, you can't talk. So we'd effectively just replace the chat room with Discord chat is what I would like to do. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and full disclosure, I saw the idea first on Node's channel where they were playing Among Us, which is by the Corridor crew, Corridor Digital folks. And that's what gave me the idea. Be like, this would be a lot of fun to play with some folks on the Gonna Geek Network or listeners of the shows and things like that. And it would be no cost because on mobile it's free. Willie seems to think it's a good idea also. Other games I've been playing.
Nice.
Super Mario All-Stars 3D. I hadn't played Mario Galaxy before, so I played through and beat Mario Galaxy. I've still got a boatload more stars to go and collect. I think I've only got like 72 stars. I have to get another 30 some odd stars to unlock another Galaxy. But I had a lot of fun with it. It was my first time ever playing Mario Galaxy, so I kind of missed out on it when it was on the Nintendo Wii, and I've had fun with it.
I mean, you know what you get if you get all the stars, don't you?
No, what do I get?
You get to play as Luigi.
Oh,
as
is that
if
how?
it's the exact same as the Wii
Yeah.
version.
I'm not super stoked on that one. I played a little bit of Mario 64 on there just because nostalgia, but I forgot how much I hate the camera on Mario 64. So much hate the camera. That's about the only thing that I really hated about that game. Even when I owned it I have it on my old Nintendo 64 sitting in my garage, but every time I would rage quit because the camera would annoy me so much. So Mario 64 doesn't have like that soft spot with me that it does a lot of other folks. Still fun. I played a little bit of Mario Sunshine because I've never played it before, but I focused predominantly on Mario Galaxy. And I had fun with it.
Sunshine was fun.
Let's see, other stuff I'm getting into. I fell down a YouTube rabbit hole, and I know how it sort of happened. Is I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about retro gamers, retro gamer collecting, and stuff like that. Not necessarily because I want to do it, but because it intrigues me watching these guys on some of these videos that are years old go out to like hit flea markets and try and find these games and things like that. And I finally understood Friday why I was enjoying these so much. It's because it scratches that itch that I have for when I used to be able to, in a pre-COVID world, go out and look for like exclusive action figures or look for that one Funko Pop I've been trying to find forever, because it's that whole thrill of the hunt kind of thing that I haven't. Bachman knows what I'm talking about. He's got his Thor Ragnarok Hulk there.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
Hulk smash, bitch.
I'm
That's
sorry.
what's wrong.
I'm done. I'm
Look,
sorry.
It's an addiction that's not going to hurt anyone. It's that I like to go and try and find cool stuff, and when I find it, I have a pretty cool feeling afterwards. I'm like, oh, this is good. And I haven't gotten to do it for 6 months. It's why arguably that 30-minute window last Tuesday that I took off work to try and get an Xbox, as frustrating as it was, I had a shitload of fun because I'm like, oh, I'm trying to hunt one of these down, and how good's it going to feel if I actually get one? And while I didn't get one, I chased the dragon, damn it.
Yeah, and it's like my mom always said about my comics when I was growing up. It's better than spending money on heroin.
Look, I get it, Willie. Not everyone
Comics,
has...
pops,
can't
video
argue
games,
with that.
whatever it is, it's not going to physically damage your body, so...
I get where you're coming from, Willie. We were kind of looking at me like, the fuck is he going on about? Because not everyone is wired like that, where there's that whole, I like to chase something down and actually be able to obtain it. And that's perfectly fine. But that's just one of the things that in a pre-COVID world, I would go to work on Friday. I would generally work a half day because of how I set up my hours. And then on my way home, I would stop and run errands, and I would generally hit one of a few different places where I'd go and try and hunt down things like that elusive Funko Pop or an action figure that I really wanted. And it was just part of my routine and something I had fun with. So I've been watching a few different kind of retro video game channels, and I'm forgetting the one guy's name, but then I fell down a rabbit hole of these guys that have been posting for, I believe their first video was 9 years ago of them hunting down video games. They're a group of guys called the Game Chasers out of Texas, and they have something like 58, 59 videos of them going on different hunts for things, and how they explain their show is they want it to be like the American Pickers of video game hunting. And that's kind of what they've built, and I've had fun with it, which is just sitting down and be like, okay, what are they going to find? And some of these videos are like 9 years old, and it's just kind of cool to be like, oh, they found this game, and learn a little bit about it, and kind of get that excitement secondhand of the excitement someone else finds or has when they find something they've been looking for years. I've enjoyed that. And it's just been dumb fun for me just to kind of recreate that rush I was getting myself of trying to go and find something I really wanted. Like another personal instance for me, like when the SNES Classic and the NES Classic came out, it was such a pain in the ass not being able to find them, but trying to find them and eventually finding them was kind of just a rush. And I was like, yeah, I finally found one. And then even after I'd found it, I knew friends were, so I'd still stop and look so I could text them and be like, hey, they got SNES Classics in at Target. You should probably go check it out after work or something like that.
Nice.
I need that, man.
Since we're talking about the NES Classic, there is one good thing I will say about the PlayStation Classic is that it's so easy to mod.
Yeah, supposedly it is.
Just buy a little card that plugs into the back of it. Boom, you're done. It adds a bunch of different games to it. That's the one good thing about that thing.
I see Draftsman in the chat room goes, it's better than Draftsman's rampant sex addiction. But one would argue that that's more fun than my trying to hunt down a Funko Pop or an action figure, Draftsman. Full disclosure,
an argument could be made.
Full disclosure, he said follow up. I kid. I sit down and draw and then spent way too much money on art supplies. So I wanted to let the joke breathe before I then clarified the follow-up.
I was going to say, we're running to McMurray country here.
Yes, I was just clarifying.
And you know what he likes to talk about.
That's what I've been getting into. Willie, what have you been getting into, buddy?
Started playing Among Us because I was like, fine, I've been seeing enough videos about it. I'll plays it.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah, I've died a couple times. Completed my task a couple times. Killed a couple times. But, yeah, and, staged a riot a couple times. But other than that, I've also been playing some more Avengers. Still fun. I accidentally got my cap up to max level of 50. He's not up to max power level, which I believe is 150. But I'm working on it. My cap is my next highest. I can't remember what. I think he's just over 100 now. So yay. But he's not even level 50 yet. So I've been having some fun with that. Been hoping I could play with some friends. But none of my friends I've been playing with seem to be wanting to play Avengers, even though they have it. That's a couple of them.
Full disclosure, I don't own the Avengers.
I do.
I voted with my wallet.
It's still fun. The funness overtakes the clunkiness. I promise you, Bachman.
We'll see. Eventually, I'll give it another shot. I got 2 days to finish getting into gold before the rank split in Apex, so I got to play Apex today.
And you only got 9 more days for the Dead by Daylight Rift.
Yeah, and I'm on like level 27. I'm done paying for that battle pass or actually trying to finish it.
Technically, I didn't have to pay for it this time since I earned enough the last one just to fully outright get it. But I'm only on like level 30 myself, or tier 30 myself. So I'm hoping to get. I just really want to get the tier 63 for one item, and that's that sweet 8-bit pizza hoodie for Dwight.
Oh yeah, I thought about just buying it just for that.
If I'm getting nowhere close, that's where I'm going. I'm going to just buy up to tier 63 because that's the only thing I want. I don't care about anything else.
It really is the only really good item in the battle pass this time around.
I don't really remember what's in
the triple hag face.
Don't remember what's all in there, but I just want that 8-bit pizza jacket hoodie.
It is a nice hoodie.
And I don't think there was anything else that I was playing. So I'm done.
He did sing us a little song, though, as we wrap this up. So thank you for that, Mr. Skittle Water.
I try.
And
I'm here to sweeten your day.
Willie did give me a good suggestion in the chat as this was going on. This week's episode title, episode 420, Skittle Water is sus.
Wait, I'm sorry. This is episode 420?
This is episode 420. You missed that where I teased it at the beginning of the show. And then last week where I said we'd probably have some dumb 420 joke, but we forgot all about it this week.
We avoided it, I thought.
I'm all right with avoiding it. We don't need to be that, we don't need to be that.
To be honest, I forgot that we had talked about a potential gag until Willie just mentioned it right now. Oh, this is episode 420. And went, oh, yeah, we talked about we might do a gag. And went,
wait, what?
We fully blanked out on that, bro.
I guess we forgot.
I mean, we talked about it on the show. I don't think we were actually legit serious about it.
It seems in line.
This was episode 420. Oh, man, whoa. What? Sorry. This is episode 420 of the show. Don't worry. You still got more of our ridiculous shenanigans coming forward. Well, I don't think we have any more stuff for today, unless you guys had anything. Anything else you want to bring up before we shut this thing down?
Nope. Time for a nap in Apex.
Well,
we missed an opportunity for 420.
As we shut this down, a friendly reminder, we do stream this show live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, over at geeks.live. We are part of the Gonna Geek Network. You can find that over at GonnaGeekNetwork.com. And if you have any interest in playing Among Us with us later at some point this week, shoot me a message on Twitter at @TheChrisFarrell or at ATGN Podcast, and we'll try and coordinate something. It will cost you literally zero money if you play on mobile.
You want to kill Willie.
That's kind of why I want to play, is so I can ruthlessly murder Willie in the game.
That's very accuse him every game.
I mean, as long as I get to kill Willie, I don't care if I get put out in airlock after that. I'll be honest.
There you go.
I'm just putting
reasons
that out
for
right
playing.
Worth it.
Worth it. That all being said, we are shutting this thing down. Thank you so much, everyone who did join us this week. We'll see you all next week for another brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Until then, have a good week, and bye, guys.
Blah.
Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek Radio app, and over at our network home at GonnaGeek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@GonnaGeek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at Incompetech.com.